Okay, let's get straight into it, and we'll start with Chelsea and the signing of Koulibaly. I made a video on Monday saying that Tottenham and City are winning the transfer window right now, in the sense that the other teams being most proactive and getting the deals that they need as quickly as possible, especially Manchester City, when you take into account that this team just won the Premier League. They just had the best team, they play the best football, they were the most consistent. And of as soon as the transfer window started, they went out and got Haaland and Alvarez. And then now they have Phillips as well. We get rid of Gabriel, who he wasn't bad last season. He wasn't Aguero level type player. He wasn't that. He didn't have that productivity. He didn't have that feeling about him. Wasn't that Haaland is I think Haaland has the potential to be closer to that than Gabriel ever could. But nonetheless, you still had Gabriel, who was a good player. You got rid of him. You got Haaland and Alvarez in, and then you also got in Phillips. City probably have the best midfield in the world right now, and they still went out of the way to go and sign Phillips. It just shows ambition, and this is why I said this in the one of my last streams. This is why I think Manchester City are going to win the league next season. If I had to bet money on any team, it would be City. I think most people would bet on City because not only because of the fact that they just won the league, that they play amazing football, and that they have the best manager in the world, arguably, but also the fact that this team just does the right thing time and time again when it comes to the transfer window and getting the targets that they want in as effectively as possible. And then with Tottenham, the thing was they just had a great season with Conte, but they didn't waste any time. They got Richarlison in, which I think is not the best signing. Maybe you could have gotten a winger, but Richarlison is a good player. You got in Bissouma, which I think is an amazing signing. Manchester United, if they didn't sign Martinez and De Jong, which we'll get to in a second, I thought that Bissouma was going to be that special guy for United. When you're looking at the place in the Premier League that United could have signed, I feel Martinez is number one in that list. You're not going to get Rice. If Rice was to leave West Ham, he would go to Chelsea, and that's if because Rice just looks like he's loving life at West Ham. Of course, a player as ambitious as Rice is going to want to win trophies in the future, but I think that he's quite happy with the team right now. And again, if he was going to leave for any club, it was going to be Chelsea. So that rules out Rice straight away. And then you have Bissouma, which which I think was United's best bet, best possible target that they could have gotten, but they didn't get about Martinez. I mean Bissouma. Tottenham did, and it's a great signing for Tottenham. And they also got in Linglet. They were weak defensively, so they pretty much covered all areas of the pitch, all areas of where the team was weak. Again, and you have Conte, who's also another great manager, one of the best managers in Europe, in the world. So these two teams, in my opinion, have been winning and the transfer window and will be very strong coming into next season. But now with Chelsea, I wasn't too confident on that Rafinha deal. It's not that Rafinha isn't a good player. Rafinha is a good player, but Sterling is a much better deal. Sterling is much better, and they got that one done. And then you also get in Koulibaly. And these two signings just shows that Chelsea, they really want to close that gap. You can talk about, oh, we want to win this as much as you want. Tuchel can say he wants to close the gap and that it will be a 5 horse race next season. You can say all that, but you have to prove that you are ambitious, that you want to make things happen. And one of the ways to do that is by getting the players that you want and that you need in the transfer window. Sterling, great signing. I've made a video on Sterling, so I'll just touch on this quite quickly. Sterling's a great signing because one is a great deal for everyone involved in this deal. Is great for City because City finally get to move on from a player that hasn't been essential, crucial for the team for quite some time now. It is good for Sterling because now he gets some more playing time and he now becomes a prominent figure at the team once again because he was not as prominent as he once was in his last two seasons at City. These last two seasons, especially when you consider the fact that at one point Sterling was scoring 30 goals in a season. He was arguably the main option when it comes to the flanks. You get him in, and then for Chelsea, it is a great deal because There is a lot of talent at Chelsea, especially when you consider the wingers at the club right now. But these guys, they're too young, and it's too much to ask of these guys to have the productivity to help Chelsea to close the gap. Salah is top three players in the world. And then on the other side, you have City have players like Bernardo Silva, um, Grealish, Mahrez. Hudson-Odoi is good, Pulisic is good, but these guys are not on that level. And Sterling is closer to that level. You can again you can argue whether he really is on that level or not, but he's definitely more close to that level than the likes of Pulisic and Odoi. Standing there, and with Koulibaly is the one I'm most proud about, most happy about because it looks when you're talking about Koulibaly, it looks like he has been mentioned in every transfer window for the past 5 years or so. Every club wants him, and for Chelsea to get Koulibaly in when they've just lost Rudiger, Koulibaly is going to come in, and again, if you want to discredit his defensive ability, if you want to do that, which I think is very stupid, but even if you wanted to do that, just his leadership alone is going to really elevate this team. He's the captain of Napoli, captain of Senegal. Getting a player like that who probably has not had the most experience at winning, but Napoli are always in and around the best teams in Serie A. Even this season, they s- they got out of the race, I'll say around March, April. But until that point, it was a three-horse race between themselves and Inter and AC Milan. So Koulibaly is a great signing. What about Ronaldo's future? Okay, yeah, we'll get back to just in a second. Let's talk about Ronaldo then. This will just be quick. With Ronaldo, I think that it just shows how bad Ronaldo wanting to leave just shows how bad things are at United. I made a short on this. For a player like Ronaldo, of his standards, of his caliber, to want to leave just shows the how don't I say the word, but the mess. I'll say mess. The mess that is at United right now. And which club is better suited for Ronaldo to go to? I was going to say Bayern Munich, but Barcelona, Bayern Munich, because Lewandowski was looking to leave. They needed a striker. Ronaldo was that guy. But it looks like Lewandowski is going to stay, and Bayern Munich just signed Mane. So when you're talking about wages and even just pacing the team, where does Ronaldo fit in? Again, Ronaldo is one of the best players in the world. Ronaldo is my favorite player of all time. I still think that he is one of the top players in the world. But if you're talking about Bayern Munich, why would signing Ronaldo at this point would just be a risk because they have an amazing team. When you're talking about the wingers, they have the likes of Gnabry, Sane, Mane, and Koeman. Four amazing players, young as well. Mane not as young, but at least Mane has more experience and is probably going to be the most productive this season. And then you have Lewandowski up front, who's a top three player in the world right now. Ronaldo is not a top three player in the world right now, although it pains me to say that. And yeah, it would look like Bayern is perfect for Ronaldo. Yeah, Bayern is perfect for Ronaldo, but I don't think Ronaldo is perfect for Bayern if you're looking at Bayern's point of view. But yeah, we'll touch on Ronaldo later on in the stream. I just want to get this Chelsea thing done. Yeah, we're talking about Koulibaly, but thank you for commenting, Bilal. Thank you for commenting, bro. Um, yeah, with Koulibaly, again, defensively, let's just look at Koulibaly's stats quick from this season. He's helped Napoli to 11 clean sheets. He's registered 1.4 tackles per game, 1.1 interceptions per game, which are not the best, I would say, but it just shows that Koulibaly is not the most aggressive. However, when you look at his clearances, 3.1 clearances per game. Koulibaly reminds me of a more of a Van Dijk type player who is not going to Van Dijk Varane type player who's not going to be the first on the ball, but is always going to clear things up. Like the amount of times Koulibaly has been dribbled past this season. Let's look at that, for example, just to emphasize my point. He's been dribbled past zero point 0.5 times. Again, this is not a guy most players are going to be able to just get passed through. One, because of his positioning knowledge and discipline, and two, because Koulibaly is really look at the size of the guy. Come on, you're not gonna get past him like that. So great signing. You, do Chelsea have that more aggressive defender? Like when you're thinking about the best centre back duos, the best centre back pairings in football history. There's always the more aggressive player and the more, let's say, conservative player that always does the right thing. Quick example: Puyol and Macherano, Varane and Sergio Ramos, and you'll find plenty of examples like this in football. But yeah, I was just trying to say that even if you weren't going to look at these numbers, which are quite amazing from the Serie A this past season, even if you're going to discredit that, Koulibaly's leadership is going to be a major asset for Chelsea coming into this season. Chelsea, has, Chelsea have also been linked to Kimpembe, and this one I'm not too happy about. Yeah, you could sign Kimpembe. He's going to turn 27 in August, but is Kimpembe really needed? See, and even if he comes to the team, is Kimpembe that good? I don't think he's that good. You could argue that if you pair him with the likes of Koulibaly, he's going to elevate his game, but that is a big if. His numbers aren't encouraging. He's only helped PSG to six clean sheets. Again, clean sheets are not all his fault, but again, six clean sheets in 30 games played, 1.3 interceptions per game, 1.1 tackles, 2.4 clearances. Not bad numbers. He could be a good bet. Again, and with Kimpembe, the thing would be his price. How much are Chelsea going to pay for him? If you're talking about less than around 30, 35 millions and less, then it's a good signing. But anything above that is just taking the piss. And at that point, Chelsea shouldn't even entertain the idea of signing Kimpembe. Again, Koulibaly is going to rejuvenate this team defensively. Not rejuvenate, but add when you consider the fact that they've just lost Rudiger to Real Madrid. That's all on Chelsea. Let's talk about Manchester United. And I want to applaud Manchester United because a week ago I was 30% certain on the De Jong deal happening, but it looks like things are moving forward. It looks like United will be signing De Jong, and De Jong is the most important signing this transfer window for this Ten Hag system, for what he's trying to build, for the inconsistency and lack thereof a proper ball playing, high quality, one of the best in the world defensive midfielders that United have not had for a long time. De Jong is the perfect signing for this team right now with the manager that they have and for the system that they're trying to play. I'll quickly talk about this spine that I've been talking about in my channel for some time. It's just the idea that if De Jong is really going to take this team to the next level, if he's going to not De Jong, sorry, if Ten Hag is going to build the system that he wants, he is going to need a strong spine, a strong core of players that are not only experienced, that are not only quality, but that will listen to him and that he can trust. David De Gea at the back is one of them, and De Jong is another one in the center of the pitch. And De Jong is not only that, but De Jong is also going to come in and fill in this hole that's just been around this team for a long, long time. I mean, I don't know how many times we've had to talk about United's poor midfield. McTominay and Fred are not good enough. When it's a club like Southampton have a better midfield duo than United than ours is just embarrassing. Romero and Ward Prowse are better duo than Fred and McTominay. So bringing in De Jong is crucial. Technically, De Jong is, you could say he is, I was going to say generational talent, but I'm not going to say that. Technically, De Jong is extremely gifted. I think that's better suited for De Jong. Extremely technically gifted, and is going just to help this team a lot. And then not only De Jong, but the one I'm most excited about, the one I'm most proud about, is the Martinez deal. I'll give about 4 to 5 reasons. Number one, hijacking. Hijacking it from Arsenal. That's funny, but when you're talking about scouting and whatnot, yeah, sure, he was a previous Ten Hag player and it didn't take much work. But when you're talking about scouting, it is great work what United have done in picking up Martinez in even the efficiency of the deal. It just shows that, at least I hope that it shows that this board, the their transfer policy, the way they're going on about making their business is changing for the better. That's one of the reasons why I think that this deal is very, very impressive. Number two is Martinez is going to come in as a two-way player, a player that can do two jobs, and two jobs that United extremely lack. Defensively, United are constantly getting exploited. In the air, I mean, Maguire is tall, but we've all seen what Maguire has done this season. It's just not good enough. Lindelof is poor in the air. Varane is the only one that I'll say is very good in the air, but Varane is very good when he's available, and that's the problem when he's available. Martinez is shorter than all of them, but with Martinez, the thing is, he's won 70% of his aerial duels last season compared to Lindelof, who's only won 61. So coming into this season, you're going to get a player who, yeah, sure, is a bit shorter, but who's not scared to go in and fight for the balls in the air and has actually done it at a high success rate this season. Sure, the Premier League can say is a different league, is more competitive and whatnot than the Eredivisie, but you can't ignore the fact that if you're talking about his height, the stats back the fact that Martinez will be okay, that he's good enough in the air to at least do the job at United. He's fast as well. He's not scared to put the tackle in. In fact, Martinez is quite an aggressive player. Let me just bring in the stats for those of you that have not looked at Martinez at Ajax. For those of you that have not even bothered to look at his stats, give me a second. So many Martinez, man. Lautaro, Andrea, oh my days. Yeah, here it is. Eredivisie 2021-2022. 2 tackles per game and 1.9 interceptions per game, 2.8 clearances. Martinez is a serious player. That said, two-way player. He can not only play as a centre back for the team, but Martinez can also play as a CDM. So again, De Jong is very good technically gifted, but De Jong is not the best ball retriever, and that could be a problem for United down the line. But it won't, because if it really is a problem, if De Jong is really that poor when it comes to winning the ball back, push Martinez a bit, and now you not only free up De Jong a bit, but you get that security in the sense of the pitch. Martinez is a perfect signing, perfect signing. A team that's trying to rebuild like United, you need these players that can do the jobs, that can play as a CDM centre back or right winger and full back. You need those players, and Martinez is going to come in. I mean, imagine Jose with a player like Martinez, a player that can play. Imagine if Jose had that player, would have just been amazing for him. Yeah. Apart from Martinez, what? Oh yeah, Ericsson, Martinez, De Jong, and Ericsson. This United have really strengthened the middle of the pitch so far. And now they have Malacia, Ericsson, Martinez, and De Jong. Still need the striker. That's the one missing. You could say they need a winger, but I'm not. The winger, I don't think is as essential as those 4 signings they signed. Again, the 5 signings United needed to make this summer was another 8/10 player. That's Ericsson. They needed a 6. That's De Jong. Centre back. That's Martinez, who also doubles as a 6. They needed a fullback. I preferred a right fullback rather than a left fullback, but a fullback nonetheless. They've got their Malacia. Now they need a striker. They're missing a striker. And that's really important, because if Ronaldo leaves and Martial does not deliver during the season, United fans, we are going to be in for a long one. Going through this season, trying to compete at the highest level, without having that player that can just score goals. This season, Ronaldo saved us so many times, especially in the Champions League. His goals just came in clutch, time and time again. And you can say he had a bad season, quote unquote, but he still scored 18 goals in the Premier League. He came out second, third top scorer in the Premier League this season. In that horrible team that United had this season, come on, man. Let's not act like Martial can just fill in the holes of Ronaldo. I mean, no one can. So try your best to go and find someone that is going to be able to do the job. If you can't, we have to go for Martial. I trust in Ten Hag with trust. I think that Ten Hag could really work with Martial, and it would be very interesting to see what Martial and Ten Hag are able to brew. But coming into the season, if you have the option to buy a striker, which is now, do it. Let's not wish for things. Let's be proactive. That's the word I wanted to use. Proactive. Now, some of the other signings that have happened in the transfer window. I mean, Dembele got a new deal. Good for him, I guess. Barca again, within a club, I guess. Dembele got a new deal. Di Maria to Juve. Good for him. And now it's the big one. Paul Pogba to Juventus official. I've talked about this in the past live stream. It's a shame what the past 4 to 5 years have been for Paul Pogba. I I was scared to call the young days past this for Pogba. Pogba is a generational talent. We're talking about a guy that has pretty much everything: technically gifted, smart, and just physically imposing. Paul Pogba is all of that. In the past 5 years at United have been awful, awful. I mean, the only thing he's done is win the Europa League. That's the height of Pogba United for the past 5 seasons. And I think it's horrible for the club and horrible for the player. Hopefully, he sees more success at Juventus as they try to rebuild and become one of those top teams in Italy once again. And then you have Gabriel and Arsenal, who's rumored to go to Juventus. I mean, I understand why Juventus would want this deal. Again, trying to rebuild. Gabriel is quite a good defender. Working with the likes of Bonucci and Allegri could really take him to the next level. But I don't know why Arsenal would do that. They struggled for centre backs for such a long time. Now they have the duo of Ben White and Gabriel, who were solid last season. They weren't the best centre back duo in the Premier League, but they were solid. They got the job done. Nearly finished fourth. So I don't know why you would want to separate that duo. So it is a good deal from Juventus side. I don't think it is a very good deal from Arsenal side. But yeah, guys, that's it for Thursday's live stream. Thank you very much for watching. If you're watching this live, thank you. If you're watching this later, thank you again. If you like the content, please subscribe to the channel for more live streams like this. More content in the channel, have a look. It's just the beginning of something special, and it will just mean the absolute world to me if you subscribed and help me to grow this channel.